everyone, and welcome back to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. It's been a challenging couple of years for everyone in light of the pandemic and how it has created hurdles, obstacles, and more for every one of us. And nowhere is immune, including the Poconos and its restaurant industry. We witnessed in 2020 and 2021 people who live and work in the Poconos rally to the aid of those in need through a restaurant and hospitality worker relief fund. This was roughly 1 year ago.
Many of our industry employees depend on tips as their living wage. Without guests inside to serve, their opportunity to make money disappears.
Yet so many of the hardworking women and men in the biz have found ways to make it work. That's exactly the story at the Frogtown Chophouse in Swiftwater. We got real with the two masterminds behind the operation there, Lyman Winter and Eric Noon, two of the key ingredients to the Frogtown Chophouse, who have a podcast of their own called Restaurant 360. Give them a follow. More on that in just a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, and with 2,400 square miles of mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers, with historic downtowns and iconic family resorts, it's the perfect getaway. You can always find out more on PoconoMountains.com, which is a newly refreshed PoconoMountains.com. Also, check us out at PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. That can be found at PoconoTelevision.com. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. We'll have a new episode each week highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe and leave a review and or comment on whatever platform you listen. All right, back to the episode. Eric and Lyman couldn't be more authentic. Front of house, back of house, perfect combo. And they've been fighting through the struggle that is the past couple of years in the restaurant world. Shout out to them and their stellar staff for making guests feel welcome and cared for when they dine at the Frogtown Chophouse in the Poconos. Check it out. So welcome back to the show. This is your host, Jim Hamill on Pocono Mountains Podcast. I am in the wine cellar, the wine room. What do you guys call it?
I wish it was a cellar. It's
The
a
wine
room.
closet?
Wine
I'd be
closet.
sick if it was a cellar.
It would be wicked cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
if we were like 15 steps down. To, that'd be great.
I know.
Hey, start.
Oh, let's
you gotta
imagine
start,
we're like
gotta start
underground.
somewhere.
We can imagine we're
Yeah.
down in a
Yeah,
cellar.
just start plotting that out. 10-year plan.
10-year plan.
start digging.
Start digging now.
But we are in the wine closet.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Eric and Lyman from Frogtown Chophouse.
Yes,
The
sir.
Frogtown
The
Chophouse.
Frogtown Chophouse.
Yeah.
This
Hey,
place
buddy.
is fantastic.
Thank you. And did
Thank
you guys hear the difference between ravioli and raviolo? Did you hear?
I did not.
No.
Yes, one.
Yeah, it's
raviolo.
one is
Oh, it's just-
raviolo is singular.
Oh.
It's ravioli.
So that totally
ravioli.
the total randomness that Lyman just did right there. Since this is another, we just did a
No
podcast with
context.
you, Jim,
Right.
Right,
Context
absolutely you
for
did,
fans.
yeah.
and that was the end of the podcast. So now he's bringing that into this one.
See, that's synergy right there.
Perfect.
We're trying to bring listeners across platforms.
Across
That's
platform.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to hear the setup, you have to go listen to our podcast.
Right.
And then you come back for the answer.
One hand washes the other.
Love
That's it.
Thanks for joining me, guys. We just talked a little bit about me, but now I want to talk a little bit about you guys. How long you been doing this? You're in the industry. You haven't gotten out yet. It's something that's a passion of yours, clearly.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a passion for me. I'm 20 years.
No, once you're in, you can't.
You never know. Extremely passionate. I just, it's a perfect example. And it's great to talk to you right after this. We just had a Saturday night that was pretty epic here.
Yeah.
And it was 7 o'clock, and I'm sitting in the office. I was making a phone call. It was very busy, but I was just making a quick phone call. And one of our hosts comes back and says, "Hey, Eric, we need you out front." I said, "Oh, I'll be out in a few minutes." Just our AGM's name is Kate.
Can I set this up real quick? This
Yeah.
is like he's about to tell you like a disaster story.
Correct.
Oh, I love
And
disasters because it's like reality.
This is like one of those like panic moments. So he's leading into it very casually and calmly.
So
But it
prepare
leads to,
yourself.
prepare yourself. It leads to like a panic where most people wouldn't know what to do and would probably just cry and run away. This is where Eric, sort of runs towards the burning fire
Nice.
to save the baby. Where a lot of people would just run away. from
So
the
she says. So I
it's
said,
7 o'clock on a Saturday night. We ended up doing 170 guests.
Oh.
And that's a decent number. We've hit 200 is like when it gets wild. 170 is busy.
for when there's no deck.
100.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
There's no
indoors
deck
only, yeah.
outside, so that's 20 seats.
Yeah.
So every seat there is no more
And that's
seats.
between 5 and probably the last seating I'm guessing was 9:15. So in 4 hours you do that volume of guests.
Oh, yeah, bud.
In and out, very efficient. Everything's mapped out for the night.
Right.
At 7 o'clock, our lead host, Sammy, walks in and says to Eric,
Yeah, so I need you to come out. She said it very calmly, and I said, hey, Kate's out in the our AGM is out in the restaurant. Just grab her. I'll be out in about 5-6 minutes. She's like, oh no. I don't think you understand. This is a you thing. Oh. And it kind of saw that, she said that facial expression. Now I know that there's
eye twitch.
Yeah, there's there's no color in her face. She's like white. So I walk out and our staging room, where the host is packed, which is very normal.
Right.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So I slide into the computer and I go, what's going on, Sammy? I said, these guests right here had a reservation for 7 o'clock for one guest. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. No problem. They're here with 15.
Oh, the
five.
Like, the five got missed.
The 1-5. The 5 of the 1 was missed, and they are and now you see it right away. So I try to control the face as if we'll just make it work. Then the panic starts setting. You can kind of see it to my right and my left that there is nothing we can do.
No.
But you go and what?
This is where you become a really good actor really quickly, because if all of a sudden you're like, oh wow,
oh yeah,
man,
then your guests start.
Oh, can I curse on your podcast? Sorry.
They'll bleep it.
I shouldn't curse.
No,
It's
they'll
okay.
bleep it.
That's okay. I'll bleep that.
So I just went into, speaking of this is where it goes. This is 20 years. Like when we debriefed after this, that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They all said, we never would have done that. So what I did is these tables that are right here that we're podcasting on are our deck tables. They were filled with about 9 inches of snow. I went immediately to 2 friends that were eating dinner, and I said, hey, we're going to move you to the bar. I have a nice seat at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy you dessert and a cocktail if you don't. Would you mind moving? And they very good friends, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's
so I didn't have to really je ne sais quoi. Moved them, brought out deck tables, took chairs from the rooms upstairs.
Nice.
That have kind of worked their way into the room scheme. I went to Josiah. One room was taken. He knocked on the door and they said to the guests, "May we take a chair?" And we sat that 15 top in about 17 minutes.
Whoa.
And then from then on, so from 7 till 9:30, every table thereafter had to be switched. So you were switching because it never ended.
Right.
But it was a
domino effect.
Right. Like I like to call it was
ripple effect.
The ripple. It was incredible. The debriefing at the end of the night was excitement.
Yeah.
I live for that. That was one of the most extreme moments in 20 years.
And that's like testimonial right there for like why you're in it too. Like it's
never the same.
Those
Never
people
went
could have
one
left
day
with like the worst experience.
Oh, the worst.
And like that would have had a ripple effect of it opposite.
Oh, right to Google review. Right to Google.
Yeah.
Right to Yelp.
Just got another one.
Right to
Google
Trip.
review. I can't stand people on the reviews.
That was me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's bastard. I
Yeah.
don't know. People don't understand how reservations work and the system and processes that are in place. You only see what's in front of you. So if you've never worked a day in your life at a restaurant, you just don't understand. And then you're either a gracious and patient person that can sort of roll with whatever, or you're not. And then the combination of like not knowing and not caring makes you like a nasty like review person. This woman reviewed and she's like, we had a table by the fireplace by the window that was drafty. Well, okay, it's a 1,000,000-year-old house. So there's a little draft.
And it's literally
she asked to move
probably
to another
1
table,
degree.
and the host was like
legit cold out.
when it was on a weekend night, she's like, and the host told me I couldn't move, and the table sat empty the whole time we were there,
and it
ruined my night. And
the host
damn
was
well
very gracious.
that wasn't, and that there was a table coming in. They don't understand that if your reservation was at 5 o'clock, right? We leave a 2-hour window, okay? So they may have had the reservation at 5:30, and there's a table reservation on the empty table. I'm doing air quotes. The empty table at like 6:45 or 7. So they may very well have been in and out from 5:30 to 6:45. They may have eaten quickly and don't see that table coming in.
Yeah.
But in their mind, the host was rude and didn't seat me at this empty table that they had.
Yeah, and then the one time you don't. Oh yes, we'll move you. Well, then that table comes in, and it's a 4-top. You're hi, can you? Hey, your time's up. Yeah. Then they hate you for that. Give me a break with these reviews.
We lost her. It was her second time here. She said she was disappointed twice.
Yep.
Well, you guys keep coming back for more, right? You've survived thus far.
Yeah.
The pandemic, which is probably in its own right, like.
Oh, very humbling.
Yeah.
a humbling experience for us.
And I know we've come in, and you guys have said that, like, we've appreciated the people who've been steadfast as far as customers go, and our team that's kind of shown up over this entire time. And
Guests, Jim. Guests.
We call them guests.
What
What do you call? What do you say?
Clients?
Customers?
Customers? Sheesh. Patrons?
That's
Is
our
patrons
our
not a
huge thing here.
Guests.
That's one of my
Only-
one of my culture things. when you're
Eric.
when you're here,
Yeah.
everyone that walks in this building is a
They're
guest of yours.
It's a good one.
But you can call
I think
them
it
whatever you want.
translates.
Right. No, it does. That works quite well.
Thank you.
So getting to now from where you guys started out, did you guys ever expect the Frogtown Chophouse to be like such a wild success like it is? I mean, you'd hoped.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, if I'm trying to like
Yeah.
stay humble a little bit, but not, I think so. I think Eric and I knew right off the bat we had a pretty winning combination.
Yeah.
Pretty early on. Yes, I think when he was in the front and I was in the back. Oh, that sounds really weird. When he worked in the front of the restaurant and
Right.
I was in the back of the restaurant, I think we knew right away that we had a pretty winning combination. And then from there, we just just grinded to build a team so that we didn't have to stand in the front of the house and the back of the house all day.
Right. Right.
And it took years, 6 years, 6, 7,
To get here, and then
7
COVID.
years.
Yeah. And then
And then it totally put you
And
right to
then
day one.
COVID,
It's
right.
as if we opened the door. You
Yeah,
might as
yeah,
well. You might as
restart.
well have said to us, "Hey, congratulations! Here's day one, grand opening."
Yeah, you guys told
Yeah.
me that story when we were in here
Yeah, we
about a
did
year
that.
ago. Like, you looked at the bank account, and there was like
$200,
literally,
Oh,
$200
$200
on a Friday morning.
on a Friday morning.
yeah,
Yeah, and then you start looking at your finances, and you're like, "Oh man, I don't really have that much money. If I
Yeah,
got
how much can you
like? I
interject?
really didn't.
Yeah.
You know, since then the restaurant's been good, and we've been able to build and
Get our nest egg up again. Which
Yeah.
rebuild the nest egg a little bit and things like that. But it was very dire. It was like, but here's the saving grace. Here's what did not make me go crazy. Although I experienced quite a bit of anxiety through a lot of that.
yeah,
Which is unfortunate, and there are some people that are still very much dealing with the anxiety from
sure,
the pandemic. Is that Eric and I, as humans, have created a larger net of team around us, family, friends, that if this place had to go away, I could fortunately get a job probably pretty quickly and in my price range, whether it was what I wanted to do or not. It's different. Eric could walk out today and find a pretty good job, I'd say within a matter of weeks. And that's because of, the community we've built around us, the friends, the family, the loyalty, I don't know. I think
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
just treating people nicely.
Taking care of
I think
people,
it
treating
goes
people.
a long
so
way.
you did have that fallback if need.
you do, but
So we
but-
never
everybody
really
does.
explored it, but
and I looked.
I know.
Right, but
Yeah.
like I said, but the problem was the 25 other people that work for us may not have that. Well, they definitely would not.
No,
have had that
definitely not.
option.
No.
Some of the cooks
Especially because
and
they're all restaurant
servers
people.
and-
Restaurants at that time weren't. There was no. My
Zero
bartenders are going to
hiring.
leave here and go to a bar.
Right.
That
shut
stopped.
down.
Scary for a lot of people.
Scary.
And that has the restaurant industry is if not in the same position it was 2 years ago. This industry as a whole, and it's now with staffing. It's now with the right product price.
Yeah.
It is. We are nowhere near. And that's why there's a lot of advocating for restaurants. Speaking of in Philly, New York, that do,
Right.
with the vaccine mandates where they have to show vaccines are dying.
Yeah.
The restaurant industry is scary. So I'm on calls all the time trying to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
So please support your local restaurants and
Did I
bars.
hear that there are countries that are lifting those mandates?
England is all lifted. There's
yeah?
zero mandates.
Yeah, you don't
in
have to show vaccination status anymore.
Not in England.
And they're saying now that this whole thing is going to peak sort of mid-February, and then
Right, the
numbers will go
Omicron one.
away, and
Yeah.
we will.
Which is fine, but then
Continue.
again I look at it. See, to that's yes. Will COVID end? Well, it'll never end. It'll just be like the flu for the rest of our lives.
Right,
We
right,
know that.
right.
I think that's what we got to just understand that. But it's not going to bring. Is it going to bring staffing back to the restaurant industry?
I
You
think
work
that-
you work holidays and weekends,
Right.
right?
Right.
Incredibly
Whoa,
long
don't
hours.
tell everyone. That's
You would hear about it.
Don't
Incredibly
you?
long hours.
Reality's kind of
Very,
reality.
very benefits, very few and far between. Paid vacation, very few and far between. It's time that we figure out how to get this. Because I'm sick and tired of when people say, well, it's kind of an in-between place. No, I have career people that work here.
Oh, we have career people.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely.
We have to, this restaurant industry has to start being taken seriously. And by bringing in paid vacations, time off, healthcare.
Would be
Elevate the game a little bit.
We have to.
Yeah.
We have
But
to.
it's unaffordable. As business owners, it's unaffordable.
Because you don't make much margin on anything other than liquor.
Zero.
right.
Well,
Touche.
and unfortunately for us, Eric and I make pretty much zero margin because, again, I'm not trying to sound, great or anything, but we pay our team very nicely, very fairly. We always we try and treat them well, so we spend a lot of money treating our team well, which in turn helps us.
Yeah,
so
benefits us.
there are selfish motives behind that, but it really makes our margins kind of non-existent.
Understood.
I mean, we could be cheaper. We could,
Well, and we're a steakhouse.
tighten up things.
So the price of meat, how much can we put on a steak on that plate that you'll still come eat the damn thing?
Yeah.
We just talked about pricing today.
Right, we're just looking at
It's a tough gig.
Well, that's why I figured you guys, for your podcast purposes, that's fun and entertainment value. But for our podcast especially, we want to be like pretty informative too.
Right.
And you guys are on that forefront of like the issues facing restaurateurs and the industry as a whole, because it is changing by the day. And it's just
so different.
It's necessary to kind of have these frank and honest discussions so that people who attend, our guests at your restaurant, have a better understanding of what they're going into. They're not going into like restaurants of like the early 2000s.
You're absolutely right.
Like the game has changed entirely.
And the same thing, when I was a bartender in Manhattan, I was a celebrity.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was the coolest industry. I worked at a really, really well-known bar. You networked, we were, you were auditioning during the day. You were maybe doing theater as well. It was such an eclectic group where, we're like a subsidiary of society. It was like so cool. My bar was always open till 4 a.m. Last call was 4:15. So we would get these major industry models. It was just unbelievable. It was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild. And then, then COVID made the restaurant industry very less sexy because it can go away.
Yeah.
It can just go away. Done. You're shut down.
It's on the front lines of that, Yeah.
And frankly, the loudest voices are the ones that are usually like kind of the rudest and like the least considerate. I don't even know if they care about hearing about the numbers or that kind of stuff. They kind of just want to keep on in the world of being miserable. Some people just want to be miserable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I think that, no doubt about that, that's 100% true. But there's another big change that's starting to happen in the restaurant industry. And I like this one a little bit, keeping it 100, is that we used to always do the old adage, the guest is always correct.
Right.
yeah, that's not true anymore.
We're moving
Spun
past
out
it.
a little
Honestly,
bit,
we're moving past it.
And especially because folks who have restaurants have had to take that stand, where the
Yeah, you
and we're
cannot
talking
treat
about
people that way anymore.
mental health
you
issues
can't.
are very pervasive now too. Everybody's been living under some very stressful times, so like it's not necessarily understandable, but it's certainly not acceptable.
You're screaming at my
Not acceptable.
GM.
Not accept-
You're screaming at my GM
Sorry.
because you don't like your Cosmo.
Oh no.
Ma'am and sir, out the door. I'm not even going to talk to you.
The price is wrong.
Yeah. Out the door.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, right. Thanks,
Happy
thanks.
Gilmore.
Out the door.
Yeah.
No more. I'm not. Well, I was very sorry. Dude, if you start, she called it the B word. That's when Kara said, our GM, out the. I don't even talk to you.
Because
Done.
here's the bottom line: we will do whatever it takes to make your experience enjoyable and worth it. Like what's
We will bend over backwards to make your experience good.
what's the phrase I'm looking for? We used to use it all the time. Perceived value. We want your perceived value to be very high, and your experience to be good. We are an experience restaurant, right? Not the fanciest, not the most expensive, not the cheapest, but we will offer an experience from the minute you walk in to the minute you walk out.
Right.
You get a hi, you get a goodbye, you get a lot of people stopping over to make sure you're doing well. And if something is not to your liking, we'll fix it.
Sure.
If it takes us 3 times, it takes us 4 times. We'll get it right for you. But man, we will no longer allow you to be rude to any of our team in order to get to that experience. Now, I understand you may be disappointed. You may be frustrated. Just like my children, you may not be mean. Period. That's
Yeah,
it.
we're done
now.
with it. I won't
You
deal
can
with it.
be
Understood.
like just like I tell my kids. You can be upset. You can be angry. You can be sad. You can be disappointed. All those things are very acceptable. Being mean / rude, unacceptable anymore.
Yeah.
Eric has escorted people out because they couldn't handle being in society. We're humans, serving other humans. We're like Christina says, we're ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. If you're not a lady or a gentleman, you're out.
Right.
I don't
Understood.
need your business like that. I need
how
I need
serious?
seats filled with people that are here to have a good time.
Yeah.
And we're human. We make mistakes. It happens.
And let's keep it real. It's food and beverage, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
if you're at a hospital and a person gives you the wrong medicine,
Oh, that's a problem.
now we're having a problem.
Legit.
If your pilot is tired or sleepy or drinking and you're flying, we got a problem here.
Yeah.
You know, if they didn't check the engine correctly, whoa. You know, but your steak came out tough. Oh, okay, we'll get you a new one. We'll
Sure.
But I guarantee you, any one of my culinary managers didn't do that on purpose. Meat is they all are different. Every meat, every cow's different.
Yeah.
There could be a fat line, a fat cap. Was it missed? Did we miss under temp, over temp? I can tell you with 100% certainty, there's not one guest that walks in here I don't want them to be 100% satisfied. There's never one. There's never been one.
Yeah.
So, just be gracious.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start yelling. Done. We won't deal with it.
Well, give me your best pitch here before we head on to like another segment that you guys had shot last year with Chris and Christina.
Yes.
I want to showcase that because it kind of gives us a little bit of the idea of what you guys do here. But just give me your one pitch for people to come on out to the Frogtown Chophouse in Swiftwater whenever you guys have an opportunity to treat them.
Absolutely.
like ladies and
I would
gentlemen.
say the best part is you're going to go on our social medias. So check us out. We're always doing some wild stuff. We have February March Music Mondays coming up. We have a mushroom dinner where one of Chef's best friends is a chef coming down to do a mushroom dinner, and we're also doing a butcher dinner.
Meet the butcher.
Meet the butcher.
Meet the
So
butcher.
check out our social medias.
Yes.
Frogtownchophouse.com as well is up to date. Our podcast, Restaurant 360, is kind of where you see us a little more raw. And Chop Live every Thursday, 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
So we give you the information, whether you want it or not, Jim. So come check us out. We'll be, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Love it. Lyman, Eric, thank you very much. We'll be back to dine and
Awesome.
wine whenever we can.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude.
Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
Eric and Lyman, they're class acts. And inviting you and yours to come and visit their establishment, the Frogtown Chophouse in Swiftwater. Catch them on social and online at thefrogtownchophouse.com.
You know, our guests really love our beverages.
They like to taste the freshness. You know, what's in there?
Like the clean, clear, beautiful waters of the Pocono Mountains.
We aren't afraid to try new things.
And take chances with our ales and spirits.
The best of the Pocono Mountains in a glass. Try us.
And find us at PoconoBeverageTrail.com.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. Let's dive into some more delicious food at the Frogtown Chophouse. Chris and Christina have us covered with Viva Los Poconos.
Hi, everybody. Chris and Christina here to talk again about some of the great restaurants and experiences right here in the Pocono Mountains. And we're in a great place today because we're at the Frogtown Chophouse in Swiftwater. The greatest part about it is the two gentlemen that own it and operate it on a day-to-day basis have such an incredible story that we're going to get into a little bit and talk about. But the one thing that we've been spotlighting is how the pandemic has really changed everything in bad ways, but also in really good ways. These guys have a great story, Lyman and Eric, about how they kept 18 families working throughout that pandemic and contributing to our community in a really big way, right, Christina?
Exactamente. Viva Los Poconos con Chris and Christina. We're going to tell you this amazing story while we're cooking, right? Are we going to cook?
I know, how nice is that?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We get to do all those kind of great things. And off to my left here on camera is Chef Lyman. Now, he's one of the guys that owns it. He's going to actually show us a couple of really cool things. Chef, what do you got in store for us here?
Wow, first off, I'm excited for you both to be here in my kitchen. We're gonna play today, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna eat good food.
That's what we like, to have fun and eat good food.
That's it.
What are we going to cook today?
So I have 3 things coming on the menu today. One is going to be our cinnamon caramel brioche bread pudding.
Oh,
That's our signature dessert. And then I have 2 new items that are coming onto our new menu, which we're very excited about. Sort of as we've worked through COVID, and now we're back to expanding our menu, bringing back some classics and some new stuff onto the menu.
And if you ever came to the Frogtown Chophouse, one of the things you'll see right away is this is about an experience. The food is amazing. It's well prepared with love and care, but it's all about the experience, right, Lemon?
That's it. That's the number one for us when you walk through the door to when you leave the restaurant. Hopefully you have a great experience and it was well worth it. All right, so let's start with the bread pudding because this process takes about 3 hours. How long do you guys have?
3 hours. If it's
3
gonna be
hours.
good.
All right, perfect. So we'll settle in for a little bit, but I'm sure through some movie magic we'll drop it down to about a minute, right? So we have just a couple more pieces of bread to slice up and put in there. You guys are hired. I asked you to crack eggs and it took about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Where'd they go? They're all in
Magic
there.
of television.
Very quick.
We did it.
3 dozen eggs we start with, our brioche. Now you can add some more ingredients to this if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Vanilla. We're gonna add.
It smells good.
Yeah, vanilla. Some
Vanilla.
cinnamon here.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Oh, hold on. Oh, got it.
I think I got. That was
Okay.
me, maybe.
Just dump it in there. This is low-calorie sugar.
Wow. All of it?
But don't show them how much you put in. Yeah, just some of it.
No sugar.
Just some of it.
Okay.
Just a little bit of that sugar.
Oh, that's really cool.
We
All
didn't
right,
see
good job.
anything.
Yeah, good job. All right, 2 of these, half and half, we're going to use. Right, we're making a custard essentially. It gets baked for 3 hours. Yeah, 2.5 covered, then half an hour uncovered to sort of finish the top of it real nice.
And you see that some people just come here for the dessert.
There's some people come just for this bread pudding, and I've sold it to many parties.
So this is a signature dish, right?
This is a signature
For you
dish.
guys.
We've had it since day one.
Wow.
It is our signature dessert here at the Frogtown Chophouse.
And I have to ask, where did the Frogtown Chophouse name come from?
So I started a restaurant over in Canadensis in 2007. That restaurant was called the Frogtown Inn and 6 Acres Restaurant. That little corner in Canadensis was known as Frogtown.
Oh,
It was
okay.
filled, there was a bunch of ponds there with a bunch of frogs, so the story goes, and they called it Frogtown. We are down to the last, final stages here.
The
of
fun
this-
part.
The fun part of the
Okay.
bread pudding preparation. So we're gonna pour this in.
Oh, look at that. All right.
I just want to drink it all
You
directly.
could- yeah, maybe
It's about it.
maybe a touch of rum in there or
Ay, qué
something.
rico.
There you go.
Qué rico, rico.
So we finished cracking the eggs. We wash our hands really good.
We did.
Clean hands, we're all set because we don't want to use gloves. We want to get in here and feel the consistency of the bread.
You have to feel the texture.
Yeah, it's great. It's getting
Right.
broken up a little bit. We're getting all the liquids getting absorbed into that
Wow.
bread.
So Lyman, I'm guessing when you first started this, you didn't think you'd be playing in bread pudding, did you? Right?
I did not. No, I started way back in the day when I was just a little kid. My first cooking job was on a schooner in Maine.
A boat?
wow.
You mean a boat?
A boat,
That's a
yes,
boat,
it was
right?
a 120-foot schooner built in the mid-1800s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all wood, no engine, and
Oh,
I was
wow.
the chef. So everything was made from scratch from a wood-burning cast
Wow.
iron stove. I set my alarm every day for 4:15 in the morning, got up, little bacon grease from the night before, a little kindling, and had that fire going all day long, cooked everything from scratch, coffee through a percolator. I made breakfast spreads, followed recipes, because I was a cook at that time. That's the number one difference between a cook and a chef.
What is it?
Cooks follow recipes, chefs create them. This is it. So we make it nice and even and flat. Wow, your guys' side is better than mine. All right, we're gonna get this wrapped up and we're gonna get it in the oven.
What are we going to do next?
Well, I know that Mr. Chris loves seafood, so I got 2 new seafood items for you. I know that's not true, but maybe we'll get him to try a bite. So I know we're a chop house and you're thinking steaks, but I want the rest of the world to know that we offer much more than just steaks. So now that we're working our way through COVID, I'm starting to expand our menu back to a full-size menu. The first one is our crab imperial. I'm going to have a seafood imperial on the menu and a crab imperial. A colossal crab cocktail. I'm bringing back the crab. Goes
Wow.
great with steak. Surf and turf all over the place.
Surf and turf.
So, lemon juice, right?
Oh,
We're gonna go
I love it.
Worcestershire. Okay, we got some
Here.
Old Bay seasoning, Dijon mustard,
My favorite.
blue crab. It is pasteurized, so it is ready to eat if anybody wants to jump in there. It makes a really nice crab
Come on,
cocktail.
Chris.
That's all right. We won't pressure him too much. But I will make a crab cocktail out of this. It's going to be very simple, just like a shrimp cocktail. So we'll have a nice presentation of this colossal lump crab. This is from the back fin of the crab. And then just a little cocktail sauce in it. Simple, clean, to the point, but great product. And this bakes, it gets bubbly and golden brown. And all those flavors just meld right into that crab meat.
So what's next? More
On-
fish?
We got more
onto
fish
the,
here.
Onto the next dish here. So this is a little soft butter. We're gonna make a compound butter. Garlic. Everyone loves garlic, right?
It's good for you.
Lemon juice. I got a decent amount in there because I really wanted to have that strong citrus flavor. And then just a little salt and pepper because we only use unsalted butter here. All right, so we're moving on to our last dish. This is new coming to the menu. This is a barramundi fillet. It's an Australian whitefish. And what I love about this barramundi is some fish have like a flavor, a fishy flavor,
Yeah.
a little bit of a flavor. This has a buttery flavor, in my opinion. It tastes a
Butter.
little bit buttery. This is our house grill seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, thyme. We're gonna sear this in a hot pan, and then we're gonna finish it in the oven, and then we're gonna finish it with that compound butter right on top and a
Wow.
little torch.
It's so simple, but it looks so
Simple.
exquisite.
So Lyman, I know we had fish, we have bread pudding, but this is the meat and potatoes part of the presentation.
That's
so,
it.
Oh my gosh, what do we have here?
Yeah,
It's
we
so
don't
awesome.
worry, Chris. We got you covered. So our number one seller, our 8-ounce filet mignon, right? That's super tender. Cut it with a fork style.
Wow.
This is a bit of a value cut. It's called a butcher's cut, or otherwise known as a hanger steak. It's almost like that flank steak, that those type of cuts. This, we'll love all this fat and this marbling. That the more fat on the ribeye, the better.
Yeah.
All that marbling and fat that you got going on there is fantastic.
So in this case, you need the fat.
You need the fat. You want the bone on in the ribeye. That creates all that flavor when it's roasting, finishing in the oven, charring on the grill. That's what we're really looking for. And then, of course, really popular item is our bone-in pork chop. Can't go wrong. This is a great product.
So this is all on the menu here.
These are all on the menu. They've been forever. We sell tons of all of it.
So what would you pair these with?
A lot of features on the weekend include a glass of wine. That's Eric's arena, but boy, his wine list is over the top. He always has something new, fun, that works in great with this. And typically, traditionally, we would pair a nice, big red wine with this.
Wow. So you have everything here. So you have seafood, you have meats, you have vegetarian for kids. So the whole family can have a great meal here.
I set out to create an experience that allowed for everyone to have a good time, from children to adults to the grandparents.
Wow.
When you're here, you walk through the door, we try and make it feel like family, and then the menu is simple, easy to navigate, and has a little bit of something for everyone.
So there's always an excuse to come here for any event, for any occasion, right?
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. I want to live here. What about you, Chris?
Yes.
I think I do really well living here.
Sometimes I feel like I live here.
Now, for a Pocono Mountains podcast extra from an episode of Pocono Mountains magazine, Eric and Lyman, yes, those two gentlemen from the Frogtown Chophouse, giving us some drink tips for at-home cocktails. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, how are you? It's Eric Noon coming at you from the Frogtown Chophouse in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania, and we're gonna have some fun making some cocktails that you can make at home. Now don't be scared. Some of these cocktails are pretty overwhelming when you see them made at a restaurant, but I have created the easiest way to make it at home. We are gonna start with the classic champagne cocktail made famous in 1852. It's a very, very famous cocktail that is super elegant, sophisticated, and meant for a party. Now, when I make this at the restaurant, I do tons of things, very flashy, sugar cubes. We don't have time for that. I'm gonna take 2 dashes, and the dash is my favorite. It's a pinch of your finger, all right? That is sugar. Angostura bitters. If you don't have this at home, don't freak out, because I know you have a spice cabinet. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna walk into your spice cabinet, you're gonna grab coriander, nutmeg, allspice, cinnamon, and you're gonna grind it down very, very coarse. Then you're gonna see if you have a vodka at home or a rum, you pick. Put about an ounce or two of that into it. Continue to muddle away, muddle, muddle, muddle. It's gonna create this very, very dark, beautifully smelling liquid. Strain it out. Basically, you have Angostura bitters. But if you have this at home, what the heck? Let's make it easy. Again, let's talk dashes. 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. Now, I know at home, somewhere deep in a little closet, you're gonna have some cognac, 1/4 ounce. What's a 1/4 ounce mean at home? Pretty much like that. All right, now we're gonna add the sophistication on top of the cognac, your champagne or sparkling wine, and drop in that lemon rind, and there you have it. Champagne cocktail made at home. All right, everybody, so a really cool another cocktail to make at home that I think some people have created over time has become very overwhelming. This drink was the margarita, which was actually made, there's many stories, but in Tijuana, I'm gonna take this story that I like. In Tijuana, a club owner found a lady that he fancied, and he made this really cool, exquisite cocktail. Another cocktail that has become crazy, but it's really simple. Very few ingredients in this. We're gonna start with our tequila. Now, it's 2 ounces, but we're at home to taste. I know where 2 ounces is. If it's 3 ounces, not a problem. Our next ingredient is Cointreau. Don't be scared of this ingredient. This is another one that you can kind of have some fun with. You can use Cointreau or triple sec. Only difference is liquor content. 15 to 30% for triple sec. This is a proprietary blend and it's 40%. If you don't have any of this, take a ton of orange rinds, put them in a bottle of vodka, let it sit for 5 days, bam, sugar to taste it if you want it a little sweeter. I'm gonna add an ounce of Cointreau, 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. This is very important. It's between 1 and 2 limes. If you put them in the microwave, they create more juice. Fun fact. Best part about this drink, and you gotta do it, is shake it. Whatever vessel you have at home, shake, shake, shake. Strain over ice. We don't have to be fancy. Garnish with a lime.
No. I got the winter classic. Glass, ice, creme de menthe. Liquid candy cane.
The Frogtown Chophouse, the first of many restaurants this podcast will sit down with and get behind the scenes with in the year to come. Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe to Pocono Mountains Podcast anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Book your trip today.